Flavor City family, what is up? It is Art and Bobby back at the grocery store for another video. And this one's gonna be interesting. It's a culmination of a lot of stuff we learned at the grocery store, and I wanna tell you what top 5 or 7 ingredients to avoid at the grocery store, especially when you're in the middle aisles. I mean, there's a lot of bad actors in here, and the reason why these companies put them in there is number one, they're cheap and they're easy to mass manufacture. But for us, the Flavor City family members, these are not ingredients you want to put in your body. They can be bad for your brain, your gut, your microbiome, your intestines. So I'm gonna go around and show about 5 to 7 ingredients to avoid at the grocery store and how you can replace it with something else. Before we do the deed, you know the drill. Like, subscribe, share, all those great things. But most importantly is what? The bell icon right below the video. Enable all notifications, because as soon as we go live with any kind of content, you're gonna wanna get a push, especially the live stream on Fridays. Those are a lot of fun. Public enemy number 1 is refined agricultural cooking oils. What do I mean by that? I mean canola oil, sunflower oil, safflower oil, veggie oil, soybean oil, corn oil. When you see something like canola oil, you really want to avoid it unless it has that word right there. Before I go into that word expeller pressed, canola oil and the oils I just referenced are highly processed and highly refined. If they're not organic, they use a chemical called hexane to extract 100% of the oil from the plant. And when you process something at such high heats, it actually alters the fatty acid to something your brain can't recognize. Much like when you eat a trans fatty acid, your brain doesn't know what to do with it. Even more important, when you eat oils like this, they're highly inflammatory. And we're starting to talk about this more. Inflammatory foods actually cause higher cholesterol, because cholesterol goes to the body to reduce inflammation. So now that you know to avoid that, the only time you can actually cook with it is when it says expeller press. So any kind of expeller press, canola, veggie, still soybeans not great, safflower, sunflower oil. The only time I would use this is when I'm deep frying, because it gets expensive to deep fry with avocado oil, right? I still do it because I buy the big jug from Costco. That's a great deal, but I understand it's very cost prohibitive from a lot of people. So if you're gonna do that kind of frying, use expeller pressed, but you'll see expeller pressed oils pop up in a lot of places in the grocery store. Let me just show you one, for example, so you train your eye how to avoid the bad stuff and buy the good stuff. Here's a prime example to give you a good case. These are organic, pretty premium tortilla chips. But look at the oil they're using. Yes, it's organic, but it's not expeller pressed sunflower oil. You'll see this 100 times in the middle aisles. Don't get fooled by the word organic. Yeah, it's warm and fuzzy, it's great. But if it's not expeller pressed, they still process it at the high heat. They cannot use chemicals like hexane, but it's still highly processed. So when you see something like sunflower or canola, you have to see these words before it. Expeller pressed. Very, very important. And it's so funny because the 365 organic uses that, but the premium late July doesn't. Heck, we even saw the Simply line of, what's those tortilla chips? Tostitos. They now use organic blue corn tortilla, organic expeller pressed oil, and sea salt. I'd rather have that than that. Okay, let's move on to the next one. The next ingredient I think you should avoid at the grocery store is Carrageenan, or as I used to call it, Carrageenan. Words and me don't get along very well. But here's the deal, when you shop at a place like Whole Foods, it's very hard to find that because they don't keep it in stock because they know it's a bad thing. But I knew there's one place I can find it, and it's in whipped cream. So when you're getting usually a dairy product, always look at the ingredients. So this is an organic cream, which is nice, but you scroll down, I see other ingredients I don't like, but we see it right there, Carrageenan. And you're gonna see that at a lot of stores. I see it at Trader Joe's a lot, and why do you wanna avoid it? Sometimes my memory gets foggy. Wait a second, you know what I can do? I can reach into my pocket, I can pull out the Bobby approved ebook shopping guide right here, pull up Carrageenan and take a look. And Carrageenan is a emulsifier that's used, but it's an emulsifier you don't want to put in your body because Carrageenan is very inflammatory and can do bad things to your gut and intestines. Actually, in some studies, doctors will give patients Carrageenan to induce inflammation. Repeat, induce inflammation. So if you have a sensitive tummy or GI issues, you must avoid Carrageenan. By the way, this is the Bobby approved ebook shopping guide. You guys have made it a bestseller on Amazon. It's a culmination of all of our videos put into an ebook. It's organized by grocery store, Aldi, Costco, Whole Foods, by aisle, dairy, bread, beef. and a master ingredient list of what to buy, what to avoid, and why. We're gonna update it about once every 4 months and push those updates to your Amazon account where you manage your subscriptions. I'll put the link down below. Lots of good stuff in there. But a place you can normally find Carrageenan is in heavy cream. Almost all conventional heavy creams have Carrageenan, but it's so funny when you go to organic heavy cream, which you want to drink anyway because dairy has to be organic, they never have it there. It replaced Carrageenan with Gelin, which is a relatively harmless emulsifier. Trader Joe's puts Carrageenan in a lot of their ice creams, so just be careful. If you see that, run, Forrest, run. I would not put that in my body. There's other alternatives and other gums or emulsifiers that are much safer. All right, let's move on to the next ingredient to avoid. Drum roll, please. Palm oil, right? Palm oil is actually very similar to canola oil in the fact that it's highly processed and highly refined, highly inflammatory, but palm oil also is devastating to the environment. In parts of the world where they harvest palm oil, they deforest the forest with all the palm oil and they leave it bare and barren, and that's really bad news. So you're not gonna find too much of it at Whole Foods, but you can find it in crackers, right? So these are Earth Balance vegan cheddar squares, which have a whole litany of issues anyway with their ingredients here. And this is actually interesting because they have two kinds of oil. First, they have canola oil. It's not expeller pressed. Then they have palm oil here. So it's almost like a double dose of bad news here. You don't want that. Why do they put palm oil in here? What does Kevin O'Leary on Shark Tank say? Money. It's a cheap oil. Like no one uses like avocado oil. No one uses like extra virgin coconut oil because it's expensive. A few people do. I shouldn't say that. If you go over to the snack food aisle, but a lot will use palm oil. Let me show you another offender, which is kind of a relatively high-end product here. Mary's Gone Crackers makes a lot of Bobby approved crackers, but this one, the real thin crackers, is not Bobby approved because it has palm fruit shortening in there. But sometimes, you guys, you'll see something that says responsibly sourced palm oil, and that just means it's not the devastating to the environment kind of palm oil, but it's still highly processed and highly refined, so while it's better for the environment, still really bad for you. If you're gonna get Mary's, this is still one of the best Mary's crackers because they have no oil, it's all seeds, it's all nuts, and it's all whole grains, which is really cool. But you wouldn't expect it to pop up in another brand of Mary's, and it does. So keep your eye out for palm oil. The only palm oil you could actually eat that's good for you is red palm oil. And the only place we've ever seen it is here at Whole Foods. It's good, it's unrefined, they don't deforest, and it's expensive. Why do you never see red palm oil in the grocery store in the middle aisle? Once again, money. No one uses it because it's expensive, but red palm oil is the only palm oil that's actually good and good for you. The next ingredient to avoid is caramel coloring, which is a known carcinogen, and it's purely in food for color, which really blows me away because it does not need to be in there and has no purpose being in there except to make things look pretty. So I'm gonna pick up something here like stock. A lot of stocks and broths, as you know from this channel, have a lot of issues, but a lot of them, like the beef ones or the mushroom ones, will have caramel coloring. So this is actually organic, grass-fed beef broth, which is good. But we look at the ingredients here, it's not quite as clean as other bone broths right here, but what do they put in here? Caramel coloring. And the only reason they do that is to make the soup look brown. You will see this in a lot of frozen products, especially frozen veggie burgers, like cheap ones like Gardein. They want the things to look brown. That's not needed. I understand it makes us, the customer, happier that the food looks more desirable, but you guys, you don't want to put caramel coloring in your body. Like I said, it's a known carcinogen and definitely to be avoided. And when you're buying broths, look, 85% of them will have caramel coloring. You got to get like a bone broth or something premium that doesn't have it. You know, I couldn't make this video without touching upon natural flavors, something I think is one of the biggest lies in the grocery store. But we have a whole video about natural flavors, which I want you to watch after this one's done. But just to touch on it, right? We're gonna look at energy bars and power bars. And one of the biggest offenders of all is RX. And they actually tricked me back in the day, very early Flav City videos. I said they were Bobby approved. And you're gonna see it's all real ingredients, right? It is the dates, the eggs, the cashews. They say no BS, but they add natural flavors here. Now, not to spoil the other video, natural flavors are not natural. A real natural flavor would be like vanilla extract. real vanilla flavor starts with a vanilla bean. It has to. That's the only rule or law about natural flavors. You start with a vanilla bean, you can take it back to a lab, add up to 100 synthetic chemicals in there to make it better, make the flavor linger on your tongue more, make your brain more excited. That's what a natural flavor is. It's basically a fancy artificial flavor. So compare that to this. Here's an energy bar that's really good out of Texas. So many cool things coming out of Texas, called Thunderbird. And look here, instead of using something like natural vanilla flavors, they use real vanilla extract. So always look for that, you guys. Even if it's organic natural flavors, slightly better, but to be avoided. Real vanilla, real orange extract, real rosemary is good. Natural flavors, bad. I wanted to end this video on fake sugar like sucralose, but one of the things about shopping in a place like Whole Foods, they don't have much of that. So what does that tell me? There's got to be a part 2 and a part 3 of this video. That's okay. There's lots of egregious offenders, I think, at the grocery store. So let's pick another one. I'm gonna pick up a bag of barbecue potato chips. Back in the day when I was a young one, I used to love Crunchers barbecue potato chips. Not anymore. But a lot of times you're gonna see ingredients in potato chips that are not good in general, but I'm gonna zero in on yeast extract. When you see yeast extract, I would put that product away. Yeast extract is another word for MSG. It's a chemically made, lab-made flavor enhancer. And while MSG is bad because it's pure chemical, it's gonna really mess up your brain, yeast extract might not be as bad, but it's still designed to trick your taste buds and your brain to get excited, crave more, buy more, they make more money. You don't want that. Plus, yeast extract is also made from corn. 9 times out of 10, that corn is gonna be GMO. This one's not because it says non-GMO there, but still, you just don't want that stuff. We go back to MSG. Naturally occurring MSG is fine. You'll find natural MSG in mushrooms, tomatoes, Parmesan cheese. That's fine. Chemically made MSG bad. Chemically made yeast extract bad too. So look out for that. But here's the deal. We got so many other things on my list, as you'll see in the ebook when you get it. I think we should make a part 2 and a part 3 of this video because there's a lot of stuff, especially in the middle aisles, that I want you, my family members, staying away from. So that is it, you guys. The top 5 or so things to avoid at the grocery store is done. Let me know what you want to see next. Also, spread the love. The only way this channel keeps growing the way it has is by you sharing and caring. Art and I have 2 more videos going below us right now. But we will see you very soon. Until then, we say unto, like we always do, hashtag keep on cooking, mad love, and peace.